Well, good morning, girly girls. You ready to get out and play? Yeah, let's get this day started. Well, good morning, YouTube friends and family. Welcome to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. If you're new to my channel, my name is Kim. No, I'm not taking my clothes off. I was just out tending my chickens, and my goodness, it's cold this morning. It was in the teens when I got up, but it's supposed to warm up a little bit today, so I'm hoping the girly girls will have a little bit of sunshine to enjoy. So I'm gonna put on an apron, don't y'all faint. And you may be wondering, hey, Kim, your kitchen's a mess. What's going on? So as I shared in a previous video, I have been evaluating, if you will, the lessons that I have learned from doing the pantry challenge for the 3rd year. And I learned that I have a tendency to overpurchase, just saying. And, you know, I have one son, and that kid could eat you out of house and home, as could his friends. So I still am in the mindset, my kid's 38, and I'm cooking for all those teenage hungry boys. So I need to rein it in. And while things like dry beans are shelf stable if stored appropriately, I thought, why not take a look at my overstock in general of things I have a whole lot of and see if I can turn it into something that will be shelf stable still, but ready to eat, i.e. canned. So I love soup and I love beans. Beans, good for your heart. The more you eat, y'all know the rest of it, right? But as a poor meat eater, beans are a tremendous source of protein for me. So I am going to make a non-approved method of some, you could call it chili mix, you could call it bean mix. What my hope is by making very spicy, and I'll share what I'm going to put in, making some very spicy beans that I can use them in a variety of ways. I can add tomatoes to what we're going to do today and make a chili. You could add meat to it, totally. I think this is going to be a great shelf stable item. And I have canned onions and canned green peppers, so I'm not going to be putting any of those items fresh in. This is a straight up dry bean pressure can 90-minute recipe. So what I did was I went through all of my beans. I have enough pinto beans. I love pinto beans and cornbread for all of us that are subscribed to the channel. I have great northern beans. I have black beans and kidney beans. I buy my beans from Azure Standard. I can leave a link to Azure and to anything I'm using in today's video, so I don't have to keep saying that. But Azure has great prices on organic dried beans. I over-purchased certain beans thinking that I was going to love Ezekiel bread. I totally don't. And so I need to use up some of the beans. Another way I like to use spicy beans in a jar, and I do spicy black beans, and I believe that recipe came from, I think, Homestead Tessie. I'm not sure on that, don't hold me to that. But I'm gonna change it up a little bit. It's gonna be a 4-bean chili mix is what I'm gonna call it. But you could also take these, if you're also not a meat eater, and you could make a delicious bean burrito from that, which is my plan. I like burritos as well. So I am going to be using today my Presto Precise digital electric canner. So let's go over here. I need to reposition stuff because I have like, I don't know, no counter space. I'm going to talk about the jars that I'm going to use for the sizes and a little bit about how I'm going to decide how many beans to put in each jar. I hope you'll stay tuned. Today I am going to be using, and I'm going to say it right, y'all, these are freshly washed, that's why it's wet, 3/4 quarts. They're tall and skinny. They're wide mouth. They're ball jars. I really enjoy them because I'm usually just feeding myself, not always. I mean, sometimes I have guests, but I can get through a 3/4 quart of beans without wasting any. So that's why I'm doing 3/4 instead of quarts. So all the measurements I'm going to share with you today should be easy to convert to quart. The processing time, I'm going to do the same as if it was a quart, so should be fairly simple. So I want to put 3/4 cup of beans in each jar, dry beans, right? So I just did the math. I'm going to do 5 jars to start, and 5 times 3/4 is 3 3/4. Yeah, use the calculator, y'all. So I need to divide that between 4 kinds of beans, so a little less than a cup of beans per type of bean. So let me go ahead. I'm going to measure out my beans into a colander. I'm going to sort them. Y'all always look at your beans, because when beans go through a processing plant, pebbles, rocks, whatever, can also get through because they're the size and kind of texture of the bean. So you don't want to break a tooth or break someone else's tooth. So let me get that done. I'll bring you back and we'll talk about next steps. So stay tuned. All right, y'all. I decided to go ahead and get my jars warming in the canner to make things efficient. And I'm filling up a jar. In the Presto Precise, you put in water up to the line, add your vinegar. Then you're supposed to fill your jars like halfway full of water. And I'm like, why won't this jar fill up? I'm so sad to say that there was a big hole in the bottom of one of my 3/4 quarts. So super glad that I didn't just have a crack that broke and destroyed my batch. So I will be using 1 quart jar, but the rest 3/4 quart. I will just adjust for the 1 quart and share when I'm doing it. So let me get these in the canner, and then I'll get back to measuring out beans. Yeah, I just looked outside and I'm like, wait, it's snowing? We're only supposed to get maybe an inch, no big deal. Welcome to January in Ohio. February, it's February, hello. We still get a lot of snow. We even get snow into March and sometimes April. I mislooked at the weather forecast, and it is not today that it's going to be warm. High of 21. Woo! But tomorrow 40. So what I've done, y'all, I want to fill my canner up as full as practical. So I recalculated, and I just want to be really clear. If you're using a quart, you can use a cup of dry beans. If you're using a 3/4 quart like I am, you use 3/4 cup of beans. If you're doing a pint, you would use half cup of beans. Now, I'm going to spice this probably in a way that, maybe not everyone would enjoy, and that's the beauty of canning. You can make food like you like it without all the additives and preservatives. So over here, I have my Presto Precise, and I'm going to turn the latch, lift it, and I'm actually going to open the canner because it is ready for me to fill the jars. So it is pre-warmed everything. Now, I ended up finding another 3/4 quart, but I want to show you all as we get ready to fill how beautiful this is. Hang tight a second. Let me turn on the boiling water. Look at this gorgeous mix of beans. Ooh, there's an ugly bean. There's an ugly bean. Sometimes you miss them. So I have washed them really well and sorted them because I didn't have I did 1 cup of each type of bean, and then for the final 3/4 cup I needed, I did a combination of pinto and black bean because A, I like them, and B, I have more of them. So I have my warm jar out here. I am going to take my 3/4 cup measure, and I'm just going to put 3/4 cup of dry beans into our warm jar. All right. Now, what am I going to spice this with? And this is just how I'm going to do it, y'all. I am going to add 3/4 of a tablespoon of chili powder. And I said, yes, 3/4 of a tablespoon. And I'm heaping it up because this is half a tablespoon. then I am going to use something that I made, and that is freeze-dried tomato skins. And these are the things that I'm finding in my pantry that I'm like, really? Because I'm gonna have tomato skins before you know it, and I definitely want to, whoo, some powder there. I definitely want to be, you know, using my resources. So this is going to give it some tomatoey taste. Now, I will leave a link to this, y'all, but it's Young red pepper powder. This stuff will blow you up, but it's that kind of hot where you're like, my mouth is so hot and I'm sweating and my nose is running, but can I have a little bit more, please? So I'm going to do about half of a tablespoon because I have already made the mistake of blowing me up, and that's a hard thing to do. Oops. Oh, Lordy. Just set that aside. Now I'm going to add some minced onion as well. I only want about a teaspoon of the dried minced onion, but I think it's going to add, oops, that's garlic. Okay, I think that's going to add a lot of flavor. So that's half a teaspoon of minced garlic. Let me grab the onion. I thought that's what I had. Okay, so a teaspoon of minced onions. And about half a teaspoon of salt. Now y'all may not be near salty enough for you, but I'm hypertensive, so I like to do that. So what did I put in here? And I got out cumin, but I changed my mind on the cumin. I put 3/4 cup of dried beans, 3/4 of a tablespoon of chili powder, 3/4 of a tablespoon of the tomato powder, a teaspoon of granulated onion, half a teaspoon of salt, and about a teaspoon of granulated garlic. Now, I'm going to add one more thing, and this is totally optional. I wish I had a very good vegetable broth, and I'm not like anti-meat or anything, but I'm going to add some beef flavored soup base to this, but I'm not going to add a bunch. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon. And there we have our first jar completed. I've got water boiling. I'm going to fill these with hot water because the canner's warm, the jars are warm. I will be, doing all the things, wiping the rims, etc. So let me bring you back when we get the canner filled up to show you what a jar looks like, how much I got out of this, and my impressions so far. So bring you back and just show you what a jar looks like. This is hot. So your beans are going to sink to the bottom, but they will absorb that water as they pressure cam for 90 minutes. You want to leave a 1-inch headspace for expansion and make sure you get all of your bubbles out. So it is important you deep bubble. So I have 2 jars done. I'm waiting on another pot of hot water. It smells amazing, like chili beans in here, y'all. I mean, it really does smell good. Since there's nothing harmful in the water, like I'm not eating like raw meat or anything, I'm gonna take a taste of the broth when I do the next round of 2 jars. And I'll do a taste test with you and let you know what my impressions are. That way too, if I wanna change up my spices a little bit, I can. I don't think it will be too hot. It might not be hot enough, so stay tuned. Before I put the last jar in the canner, and I confess I tasted this earlier, but let me give you a taste test of just the liquid. So it's nice and soupy looking. So good, y'all. Now I will tell you, if you are not a spice lover, when it hits the back of your throat, it's a little spicy. I love very hot and spicy things. So if you choose to use that, I would say like half of the amount that I originally said. Taste your broth, so to speak, the liquid. Oh dear, hold on guys. Okay, so we're over here at the Presto Precise canner. It's telling me fill the jars. We've done that. I'm going to put the lid on, make sure the levers turn to vent, close the latch and latch it down, and all you do then is hit next. And what it's going to do is it's going to heat it up, so it says heat. It's going to automatically vent it for 10 minutes, and then it will start the countdown of the 90-minute processing time. So I will bring you back, camera's crooked, sorry y'all. I will bring you back and show you the end result. I did use ball jars and ball lids. I do like the 4 jars product a lot. I don't have a lot of failures with either. So, you know, I'm just using up what I happen to have on hand, and I have a pretty good stock of canning supplies. I'm debating on whether or not to do another canning project, but first I think I will organize this a little bit and peruse my recipes. I'm thinking about some baked beans, but if I don't bring it to you today, don't be disappointed. All right, stay tuned. Y'all, we have 5 3/4 quarts and a one quart. I am so pleased with, pardon me, how they smell. You can see some boiling still going on. After I processed them for 90 minutes, I took the lid off of the Presto canner. I let it equalize its pressure for 10 minutes. And I'm super pleased. They all sealed before I ever got them out of the canner. So I'm anxious to try them. I think this is going to be an amazing chili base. I think it's going to make an amazing bean burrito, or I like to make wraps with like spicy beans, like something hot, and then put some salad in it. That's also very good and healthy, and something I will go to. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope it gave you some inspiration about what you have in your pantry that you maybe feel like is overloaded, or you would like to process it into a different form so that it gets consumed at a more reasonable rate. So I decided, y'all, not to make baked beans because I prefer the overnight soak method, and yeah, so I couldn't do it all in one video. And don't pay any attention to the jars behind the jars, because I actually did part 2 of this video that you will see coming up at the next video. Now, y'all, I don't know what order things will go up in. I'm actually a little bit ahead, and we're doing our sourdough, but there is a part 2 to this, and it's a really cool project you're not going to want to miss. Boy, my goodness, I've been in the kitchen all day. So I'm super pleased to have these done, and drop me a comment below. Would you try some spicy bean chili starter, or just some multi-bean chili starter? What kind of spices do you think I left out that I should have put in there? All right, y'all. I hope you're all doing very well. Go ahead and smash that like button, drop me that comment, and I will see you all very soon. But until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, take care.